Hello, this is Jennie from Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. Today I have an art journal video for you. I will be using a napkin. Yes, a napkin. And I will be working in this art journal here that I have created from a mixed media notebook that I purchased somewhere. I don't even know where. So I purchased this napkin as a single from, and I will link the website because I will butcher the name. I purchased a whole bunch of individual napkins from her website so that I could use them in art journal pages. And this napkin, I am going to use just this bottom square. I know the whole bicycle will not fit on this book or this art journal, so I'm just going to start with this bottom square. And the first thing you need to do is remove the extra ply or the extra pieces. This happens to be a 3-ply napkin, and I only need the top layer. I am sticking my cutting board, my half of a cutting board, in between my art journal pages so that I do not get any paint or gel medium or glue or anything else on this other page. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and tear around this napkin. I don't want to cut it out. I don't want it to have perfect edges, but I want it to be to eliminate some of the extra. And it still is going to take up, a good 2/3 of this page. So now that I have this napkin ready, I am going to start with some background texture. I have this stencil that I ordered from scrapbook.com, I think, and I am going to apply some texture paste with this plastic spatula through the stencil. Now this is still my same jar of texture paste that has kind of gotten stiff, but I am bound and determined to use it all. I don't want to throw it away. I feel like as long as I can still push it through the stencil with a stencil knife or a palette knife, I'm going to continue to work with it. I don't really care if the texture paste goes all the way down to the bottom. In fact, I think I kind of want to stop about where the bicycle and the napkin hit, just so that it's not bumpy underneath that napkin piece. I mean, it's probably going to be anyway, but I just kind of stopped where that napkin is going to be, and I will take out my stencil and clean that off. You don't want that texture paste to harden on your stencil because it will never come off. And I am going to go ahead and take my heat tool here and dry that texture paste that is not dry yet. It doesn't usually take very long to dry texture paste just out in the open. Maybe 20-30 minutes if it's not very thick. But I was trying to get this art journal page done before my children got home from school. I think all in all, this was about an hour project. And with the editing and the fast forwarding, I've got it down to about around a 15-minute video. So after the texture paste has dried, I am going to add a layer of gesso so that when I add the paint, I am not putting gobs and gobs of paint on the paper. It won't soak into the fibers of the paper. It will just kind of sit on this gesso. It's just my little trick for making my paint go a little farther and for not making the paper get bogged down with extra water liquid from the paint. And I will go ahead and dry that with my heat tool as well and tidy up the cutting board behind my page just a little bit. This spiral bound notebook, I think I purchased from, I actually think I might have gotten this one at Walmart a couple of years ago when I really first started art journaling. So maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm trying to work and finish filling it up. I have a number of pages that I have, or a number of books rather, that I have started but not finished. I don't know why that is. So to adhere the napkin to my art journal page, I am going to add a layer of gel medium. Now I did try to put gel medium on the back of this napkin, and it was not very successful. I did kind of tear and crinkle it, so I decided, never mind, I'm not going to do that. Hopefully I would be able to move it around, but I feel like since the gel medium is not going to be able to go on the back of the napkin without smearing, I'm going to have to go really fast and be really careful and just get the bike in the position I want before that gel medium starts to really grip and grab the back of that napkin. And as you can tell or see right there, I tore it some more. I should just have not worried about gel medium on the back of a napkin. Now I know, right? I will go ahead once it's down and add gel medium to the top. I want to make sure that this napkin, because this is my focal image, I want to make sure that it is stuck down to this page. I don't want it peeling off on the edges because it is so fragile. Napkins are a great thing to use for art journal pages, especially if you are a beginner and don't have a ton of what's the word I'm looking for? Supply. There we go. Supplies. I have gone to the dollar store and purchased packages of napkins. The only problem with that is you have 12 of the same napkin. And then I found the website, which I will link below, where you can buy one-ofs for around 75 cents a napkin. And just some really cool rice papers and ephemera focal art or focal image pieces that are really pretty. I bought quite a few things from her website, or from the website. I guess I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I just said her because the napkin is a bicycle with pink flowers. I don't know. Whatever, right? I will go ahead and dry this with my heat tool so that that gel medium is no longer sticky and tacky, because now I have the task of blending in the napkin. Now there are two ways to go about this. I'm just going to tear this stuff off the edge real quick. You could put the paint down first and then put the napkin over the top of the paint. I opted to put the napkin down first and then blend the paint into the napkin. So I have 3 colors of distress paints here. I don't know what color they are. I forgot to write it down, and then I put them away when I pretended to clean up my desk. One is old paper, one is vintage photo, and one is scattered straw. I think I am going to mix these 3 colors of paints together to get a color that resembles the background of this napkin. And then I am just going to use this wedge of art sponge, whatever they're called, to add the paint to the page. Probably because of the image on this napkin, it would have been a little bit easier to put the paint down first and then just blur the edges. There is a YouTuber, and I will link her channel down below in the info box. Her name is Amut, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. She does some fabulous art journal pages with napkins as her main image. And that's kind of where I got the idea to search for and use napkins in my journal pages. So I am just going to continue to try and blend this. And you can see as I add the ink that texture, those double layered circles from the stencil, are starting to pop out just a little bit. It's not extreme. It's not something that says, hello, look at me, I'm right here, I'm a bunch of circles. It's just a little bit of something in the background that adds interest to the page. And I know I've said this 1,000 times, probably in every art journal page I've made, but we add layers to our art journal pages to give it that interest, to give it the look of dimension and fluidity and something to look at that you're not really looking at. It's one of those things about mixed media that is weird, I suppose. We're adding layers and then we're covering them up. And I don't know if that's normal or typical in other mediums. I know that in card making, sometimes we do that. We add layers of paper to add a mat or a frame or a border. So I suppose it's not, entirely unheard of. Now, the problem I had here was that I put too much paint on too quickly, and it just kind of sat there and puddled on the page. So I did have to go back through with the sponge and kind of pick some of it back up and then dry it with my heat tool. Normally speaking, this distress paint, it's an acrylic paint. It doesn't usually take too long to dry unless you do what I just did and put a ton of it on the page. So now that I've gotten it dry, I am going to take this Distress Oxide, I think this is Vintage Photo, and I'm going to go around the edge of the page. I don't want there to be any white edge showing. I don't want in this book, I've glued 2 pages together to make them thicker, and because there's no way I could journal on every page and have this book actually ever close, right? So I'm putting the Distress Oxide ink around the edges of the page to kind of hide that white middle, the fact that the pages are stuck together. And then I'm adding more around the edge of the napkin to kind of blend in that edge just a little bit. And it also helps and pulls that texture out. So I found a quote on my Pinterest board, and I have used these Tim Holtz Chit Chat stickers to, or they're is it Chit Chat? Yeah, Chit Chat. And they're just stickers that are just individual words. And it had every word of the quote I needed except the last word, which was perfect, because then I could take a alpha stamp set and just stamp that word out and adhere it to the page. So now that I have these Chit Chat stickers on, I am going to go over them with some gel medium because my page is not flat. They're not sticking very well. And they are a sticker, but they're just not, like you can see, I just stuck the paintbrush right underneath there because the surface isn't flat. So I just added a little bit of matte gel over the top of it. And now I will stamp out this last word. And the quote says, let me grab the page right here. You will never have this day again, so make it count. So I am taking my potting soil archival ink because it is waterproof and stamping out the word count with this Dilutions Alpha Set. If I'm using English properly. And so I just had this one word I needed to stamp to complete my phrase. I think it's really cool that these Chit Chat stickers have so many individual words that you can make full sentences. It's kind of cool. Once I have this stamped out and have the stamp set put away, I am going to take the dot off of that exclamation point and just use it as a period. And then I'm going to kind of fussy cut around this word. I don't want just a square block necessarily because it is so much bigger than the other stickers on the page. So I am going to kind of take my sharp little scissors and cut around it, leaving a little bit of a white border so that I have a more organic shape around this word. And I wish that in real life, I fussy cut this fast. I promise you, this is not how fast I really cut. This video is sped up two times fast, except for the drying with the heat gun, I think was like 4 times fast. So yeah, I don't really cut that fast. I am going to go ahead and use the gel medium again to adhere that right there under my sticker sentence. And it's kind of going over the little bird or butterfly thing or whatever it is on the seat of that bike, but whatever. It works. I love using Pinterest for quotes. Anytime I see a quote when I'm just perusing Pinterest during my kids' piano lessons or martial arts classes or whatever. And if I find a quote I like, I just pin it. And then when I need a quote for an art journal page, I go and find one that I feel like journaling about or that fits the theme or the idea or the image that I have going on. Most of the time you can make any image any image fit any quote, just about, unless your image is very, very, very specific. So now that once I get this gel medium dry, I am going to go around this with my Pitt pens. And I have talked about Pitt pens before. They are some of my favorite. They are an India ink, but on non-porous surfaces, they are smudgeable for a minute. So I am kind of smudging the outside edge, and then I'm running the ink kind of over the top of the stickers. They are super bright white, and I didn't really love that because there's nothing else kind of that bright on the page. So I just kind of went over the stickers, and then I added a little bit of that India ink to the stamped word as well. I kind of went around the edge of it and smudged it into the word instead of just around the edge, just so that it was kind of, I don't know, it's more dirty looking the right way. That sounds kind of weird thing to say about, markers. I don't know. The only thing left to do is to sign my name here at the bottom and date it. I'd like to date my pages. I am going to zoom in so that you can see some of that texture and see the quote again. And it is a napkin. This is an art journal page made with a napkin, like you would wipe your face on after dinner. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, do it again, never do it again. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.